Today we're going to do a deep dive, or at least a deep dive for me, into fermenting vegetables. And I'll tell you what, you guys, I have done so much research to find what I feel like is a really doable, easy process for fermenting vegetables. However, before I get started with that, I want to tell you about one thing, and it's this little jar of green goodness. Oh my gosh, this kind of changed my life. I'm going to show you the inside. It doesn't look really cute because I'm getting down to the nubbins. This is a cilantro lime cream sauce. And oh my gosh, the smell of it when I just opened the container is so delicious. I saw this on some recipe, and to be honest with you, I didn't even look at the whole recipe. I just saw the title, cilantro lime cream sauce, and I was like hooked from the very beginning. And I really didn't go down and look at the whole recipe because I already knew in my mind how I wanted to put it together. This is so incredibly delicious. I have used it on everything. I put it on scrambled eggs that, were scrambled with a few vegetables. I've put it on a protein bowl, on a steak protein bowl. I have put it on salmon patties. It is so incredibly delicious, and it's really easy, and it keeps for a while in the refrigerator. This has been in my refrigerator for probably about 10 days. It's almost gone. What you do is you put a big old bunch of cilantro, and you can use a lot of the stems, pack them into a blender, add lime juice. I think I added the juice of 2 limes. I put in a little bit of sour cream. You could do sour cream or yogurt. And then I just added the seasonings that I like. I put in several cloves of garlic because I love garlic, and garlic is so good for you. So I added garlic, I added smoked paprika, I added a little bit of chili powder, some cumin, salt and pepper. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so delicious. And I know my daughter's going crazy right now. She's editing this video. She loves cilantro. I cannot recommend this enough. Whip up a batch and just use the seasonings that you like. I really just eyeballed it and started adding things that I know that I really enjoy on my food. So cilantro lime cream sauce, absolutely delicious. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, I want to talk about fermenting foods. And I have spent a lot of time recently watching different videos on YouTube, looking up recipes online, finding out the whole process and the whole concept behind fermenting vegetables. And I have come to a few conclusions. First of all, I think we all need to be fermenting vegetables, and that's just the way I feel about it because it does so many things. First of all, it is so good for your gut health, and I'm going to do a deep dive into that in a few minutes. Great for your gut health. It's a great use of veggies that you've got in the refrigerator that maybe you're not going to cook up, but you don't want them to just go bad. It would make a great gift. I mean, the jars are so incredibly beautiful. They keep for a long time, so it's great for food storage. Fermented vegetables can stay in the refrigerator for, 2 to 3 months, sometimes even more. So it's a great way to preserve food, particularly if we're looking at the possibility of some food shortages coming down the pike. Having some good fermented vegetables that are so good for you and so good for your gut health in the refrigerator is just a really, really great thing. The last thing is super, super easy. And what I have done with the research that I did is come up with what I think is the simplest formula. When you go onto YouTube, and I'm going to encourage you to go onto YouTube if you're interested in fermenting vegetables and watch a few videos. What I have found is that most people on YouTube that are doing the whole fermenting thing use what is called a 2% solution. Now, what is a 2% solution? It's where you weigh the amount of vegetables you're going to be using, and then that weight, you use 2% of that weight for the amount of salt that you're going to use in your mixture. here's the problem I have with that, and it's kind of the thing that I don't like fussy. I started thinking about it. It's like, wait, humans have been fermenting vegetables for centuries. It's a very, very old way to store and prepare food. I don't think as they were coming across the country in a covered wagon, you know, Mabel said to Earl, get the scale out of the back of the wagon, make sure the batteries are fresh so I can weigh these vegetables and the salt. I thought, no, that was probably just a process that's come along the line to make it easier to understand or easier to have a more consistent recipe. In my mind, and I'll bet you anything, you know, my grandmother fermenting vegetables did not weigh anything. She just threw the salt in, threw the amount of liquid in, covered it up, burped it, and, you know, she was good to go. So I was lucky enough to finally find a gal that has a site online, and I'll have it listed below, where she has a standard recipe for the amount of salt to the amount of liquid. And that made sense to me because I know people have not been weighing that stuff for the last several hundred years. They've just been throwing it together in a process that works. So I'm going to go into that in just a minute. But now I want to go into why fermenting vegetables is something I think everyone should add to their life. I'm going to go ahead and read this because it's that good and I couldn't memorize all this. So why eat fermented vegetables? And this is from the eatbeautiful.net website, the gal that I found that I think has the best formula for fermenting vegetables, at least the easiest to understand and implement formula. So why eat fermented vegetables? It protects the body against infection by stimulating the immune system. That's a plus. Improve the digestive process. Fermented veggies help to break down proteins and carbohydrates, thus requiring less insulin for digestion. So if you have a blood sugar thing, adding fermented vegetables to your diet could really even out that issue. Provides an excellent source of antioxidants, big plus there. Help to fight candida and other yeast overgrowth. Keep flora balanced throughout the digestive tract by eating them regularly. Increase the bioavailability of vitamins and minerals. That means that your uptake of vitamins and minerals as you eat throughout the day is going to be more efficient. Reduce blood glucose levels, you know, those blood sugar spikes, and gradually overcome SIBO or histamine overload with the slow reintroduction of probiotic foods. This is your gut health. In other words, all those little goodies, the bacteria and the wide variety of bacteria that you really want to encourage in your gut. So I thought those were great points, and it really convinced me that everyone could really benefit from fermenting vegetables. So here is what I worked on last week. This is my fermented lemons. Isn't that pretty? Wouldn't that be a great gift? It just looks so very pretty. I think this around Christmas time, if you can find lemons, you know, at a great price, making these for little hostess gifts is such a terrific idea. A little ribbon around it, a little sticker on it would be beautiful. So I'm going to do a batch of fermented carrots with ginger today, and my daughter right now is gagging. She hates ginger. I love ginger. These carrots are organic and the garlic is organic as well. I washed the carrots. I did not peel them because I like to keep the skin on my carrots. I just think the fiber is a good idea and the additional nutrients from the skin. And the ginger, I peeled that with a potato peeler and then chopped it up. I love ginger, and so my ginger is in big chunks, and I'm going to put these together in a ferment. This is the mixture of liquid that I'm going to use, and this is why I liked that gal that I found on the internet. I'll have her listed down below so much. She puts together the ferment formula based on the volume of water. So I've got 4 cups right here of distilled water. And in this bowl, I have sea salt. This is a combination of Himalayan sea salt and Maldon salt. The reason I put this together is just because I had the Maldon in the cupboard and I thought, why not? So what I'm going to add to the 4 cups of distilled water is 2 tablespoons of the salt. This really eliminates the need for a scale because you're just adding the salt to a volume of liquid. And then with this liquid, what I don't use in my carrot ferment today, I can use in a ferment that I do tomorrow. So this is going to get used as much as I need today to cover my carrots and my ginger. And then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and probably ferment something in a day or 2 and just use the same liquid. So I'm going to go ahead and shake this around until all that salt dissolves before I use it. To start this whole fermenting journey, I did buy a little bit of equipment. It's not expensive and it's reusable, so that's a good thing. I ended up getting, I think, a 6-pack of wide mouth mason jars. The reason I wanted wide mouth is so that there's more room in order to pack the vegetables in and just work with the contents of the jar. So I got 6 of these. I purchased mine off of Amazon. I would not recommend that. They're expensive on Amazon compared to what you can get them in your community. My guess is at a local hardware store like Ace or Tractor Supply, something like that. It seems to be more reasonable there. In addition, I got what's called pickle pipes. This is to burp the jar while the contents are fermenting so the jar doesn't go kabloom because it builds up pressure. And then I also got these fermentation weights, which are super, super handy. They're going to keep the contents of the jar down in the jar because you don't want any air hitting your vegetables. So here's the fermentation weight. I got the ones for wide mouth jars, and that just goes right on top of your vegetables. I will have everything that I picked up listed in the description box down below. I'll put a link for the jars that I got. I wouldn't really recommend you get those on Amazon. I think you can do better in your local community. So what we're going to do now, this jar is clean, is I'm going to pack my vegetables into the jar and I'm going to alternate between carrots and ginger. And I'm not going to worry about packing it really pretty because it's just for me. It's not for a gift. So I can just go ahead and put them in willy-nilly how it works for me. I'm going to put in a little bit of carrots, put some ginger on top of that. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of salt, just because you don't have to, and then continue on until I've got the jar full. One of the things that you can add to your fermentation process that's going to help with that converting the vegetables into the lactobacillus acid, which is what you want, is the whey from on top of your yogurt. You know how when you open up your yogurt and it has that watery mixture on the top? That's actually not water, that is whey. And whey will help that process of fermenting the vegetables. So if you want to pour that off into your container, that's going to help facilitate that fermentation process. I eat yogurt, a little bit of yogurt, about 2 tablespoons every night with some fruit. So what I've started doing is instead of pouring that whey into the sink, silly me, I'm going to put it into a little jar and use it when I'm fermenting vegetables. So that's a little something that you can add. So now I have my carrots. I didn't use all of them. I still have a few left, and I'll go ahead and put them in the salad that I'm going to have today. So I've got them all packed into the jar. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to really make sure that my water and salt mixture is all blended up. Again, this is 4 cups of distilled water, 2 tablespoons of sea salt. Don't use a salt with iodine in it. Use sea salt. And I'm going to pour that over my vegetables until they're all covered. There we go. And I put it about, there's about a half an inch to a quarter of an inch on top of those vegetables because we don't want any air in the mixture. Then I'm going to take my fermentation weight and really press that down into the jar. And we've got plenty of liquid. And then this is called the pickle pipe right here. And you can see it has a hole in the base of it. And then you just put this little kind of hat on top of that hole area, put that into the lid of the wide mouth mason jar, and you've got your fermented vegetables right here. What you want to do during the fermentation process when it's staying out on the counter in a darker space, not in direct sunlight, is you want to go by and kind of burp that mixture to let that build up pressure out and put that right back on there. So this is going to stay on the counter or somewhere darker that's not in direct sunlight for about a week until that bubbling process stops. Then it's going to go into the refrigerator where it will keep for, 2 to 3 months and maybe more. So you can see how easy this whole process is. Super good for you, super affordable way to really improve your gut health, which helps to detox your body, gives you lots of goodies for your gut microbiome, is a great way to preserve vegetables that maybe you're not going to be able to use in time before they go bad. Makes a wonderful gift. Every single part of it is all good. Have you noticed that things are a little bumpy on planet Earth right now? I know, it's gotten kind of wild and crazy out there. One thing that I'm really focusing on is being prepared and keeping my assets as safe as possible, which is why precious metals are such an important part of my portfolio. Currencies come and go, but things like land and precious metals hold their value over time. The company that I have been working with for years now and absolutely love is Miles Franklin. It is family owned. Andy is at the helm. You can find him right here on YouTube. I'll list the Miles Franklin channel down below. If you're not familiar with investing in precious metals, it's so easy and they make it a very, very smooth process. You can talk with them about storing your metals or having them delivered directly to you. In these uncertain times, I think everyone having something of long-term value in their portfolio is a good idea. Miles Franklin has been my go-to. Make sure you ask for Richard. He's the best. I'll have all the information listed in the description box down below. Take a few minutes and make sure that your world is as taken care of and safe as possible. I'm finally getting back to you guys about this vibration plate that I bought. And I can tell I'm all crooked. Hang on just a minute. Let me fix the camera. So I've been using the vibration plate for a little while now, and I'll give you the cliff notes in case you don't want to suffer through my whole dissertation on it. The cliff notes are, I friggin' love it. I absolutely love it, and I'm so surprised about it. You know, I purchase a lot of these things that I see out on the marketplace kind of because I think maybe they're a little stupid. And I am surprised from time to time, and this one has really surprised me. And I absolutely love, love, love it, but maybe not for the reasons that you've heard of or you think. So let me kind of go over a little bit what it is, what the clinical studies have shown that it can do for you, and then I'll get into the reasons why I'm so friggin' in love with it. A vibration plate is a plate that vibrates, and it has two different functions. One is the strength or how deep that vibration goes back and forth. You can go like this or like this or like this. And the other is speed. Like, can it vibrate like this or like this or like this or like this? So there's two functions, and the studies on it are actually pretty extensive about what it can do for your body. First and foremost, at least for me, is the lymphatic drainage. it clearly helps with lymphatic drainage, particularly if you have swelling throughout your body, ankles, knees, stomach, that whole thing. This sucker is so good for that, and you can feel it when you get on it, particularly if you haven't done any other lymphatic drainage that morning. You get on it and you can start feeling your nasal passages drain. It really is very, very effective at that. The second thing that they purport is a benefit of a vibration plate is muscle mass or muscle growth. That is true. It will impact muscle growth, but not that much. In other words, the action of the vibration causes your body to tense up in order to keep your balance. It does increase muscle tone and muscle mass, but not nearly what weight training will do, or even calisthenics, that sort of thing. So I wouldn't really say get a vibration plate so that you can build your muscles, because it's really pretty negligible. Although it is there, and I'll give you some reasons why it might be good for you if you're looking for some help growing your muscle mass. The third thing they talk about is bone density. Because of the movement of the body and the pressure that puts on the body, it does improve bone density. But again, not by very much. I mean, it's pretty negligible. Actually, the muscle growth that could result of using a vibration plate is greater than the bone density, which is exactly opposite of what I would have thought. I would think that because of the vibration, that the change in bone density would be greater than the change in muscle mass, and it's not. Bone density is there, it's just not that big of a deal. The muscle growth is there, but again, not that big of a deal. Both of those issues can really be much better addressed through weight training. So weight training really helps with bone density. It's one of the most important things we can do as we age to protect our bone density, and of course muscle mass. It will grow your muscles quicker than anything I've found, at least for me, and I think if you look at clinical studies, it will go right along with that. Now you're probably wondering, well, Kimberly, why the heck do you like it if it has very kind of small results in the two areas that we might be thinking about, muscle growth and bone density? Well, I'll tell you what, I am all up for anything that's going to do lymphatic drainage. And it really, really does do that. Here's the kicker for me. It feels so good. It feels so good, and it relaxes me so deeply. So I will get on it, and first of all, that vibration, it feels a lot like a massage to me. I mean, it feels so good because it literally vibrates all the way up your body. And I have found that depending on where I focus my weight, whether it's on the balls of my feet or the heels of my feet, it really does make a difference. When I'm leaning back and putting the weight primarily on the heels of my feet, it goes all the way up my spine and into my shoulder area. It really feels so very good. And for me, the bonus is that when I get off it, I have such a deep sense of relaxation because it just kind of worked my muscles out, and it really just relaxes everything in my body. So for me, it is an experiential thing almost more than an impact thing on my body. In other words, it feels so doggone good. And I have found myself kind of craving it, like, oh, I want to go do 5 minutes, just because it kind of shakes everything out. If I'm feeling a little tense or tight or uncomfortable or just, that sort of thing, I'm not dropping down in the evening to go to sleep, I get on this and oh my gosh, it feels good when I'm on it. And then when you get off of it, it's kind of that real soothing feeling you have after you get a massage. So that's the reason why I love it so much, is it feels so doggone good. Now, I can share with you my thoughts on who this is good for. I definitely believe it can benefit anyone, but does everyone need it? Well, I don't know. I don't think so. If you have a rebounder, or if you're a runner, or if you're kind of a fast walker, or if you bounce up and down on one of those exercise balls that you blow up and you sit on your butt and you bounce up and down on that, do you need this? No, I don't think you do. Would it feel good? Yeah. It would feel good. But as far as the benefits, the health benefits, the lymphatic drainage, the muscle growth, and the bone density issue, the rebounder is going to really outpace the vibration plate in those areas. However, there is a group of people that I think this is so good for, and that group is women who have mobility issues. So if you're not able to jump on a trampoline, if you have some physical limitations, but you still want that lymphatic drainage, that really kind of deep lymphatic drainage, and you want to have some support in muscle growth and bone density, this is awesome. It really is. Because if you have physical limitations, this is perfect because all you do is stand there and the plate does all the work. If you're worried about balance, like you have physical limitations and your balance is not where you wish it could be, you're not real confident in it, just move it over next to a counter and stand on it and kind of put your hand on the counter and balance yourself there. So if you limit your physical activities because of limitations or an injury, or you don't trust your balance, or you're just not feeling really confident in your physical abilities, this is a great alternative to be able to really impact your body in a great way. It feels so good, and it's a heck of a lot, I don't know, safer or conservative than a rebounder. I want to let you guys know that I have not tested a whole bunch of vibration plates. I ended up getting mine from Amazon, and I'm sure it had like a coupon or something, or it was on sale. What I do when I'm shopping for something like this is I'm looking for a nice middle ground between features and price. So I bought this a while ago. It took me a little while to get it open. I would imagine that it was fairly affordable based on what was available out in the marketplace. I have not tested a whole bunch of them. This is the only one I've tested and tried. But you know what? I like it. I don't feel like I have to go out and get another one that has more bells and whistles. This one is perfect for me. I'll have it listed in the description box down below. But if you're thinking about getting one, I would really look around, either in a local sporting goods store, or you can look on Amazon and kind of think about what they're offering as far as features compared to the price point. Again, I'll have this one listed, but I'm not saying this is going to be the best fit for you. It's just the one that I have, and to be honest with you, I'm really happy with it. Mine has a little remote control, so you actually plug the unit in and you turn it on, and then you control the on and off and the speed. Here, it has a functionality of program and manual. To be honest with you, I haven't figured that out much. I just get on it, turn it on, and raise the speed up to where I feel like it's comfortable and just enjoy myself. So as far as there being significant health benefits, if you're very active, physically very active, or you're lifting weights, or you're on your rebounder, every day for 15, 20 minutes, I don't know that you really need this. I can tell you it feels good. I don't know if it's going to do much more than your rebounder or your exercise program. If you have physical limitations, or you don't trust yourself on a rebounder, or you've got, balance issues, that sort of thing, I think this is a great alternative because the things that it does to lymphatic drainage, a little bit of help with bone density, a little bit of help with muscle mass, it really is kind of worth it. They're not that expensive. The prices go all the way up to several hundred. Trust me, I didn't buy one that was several hundred. I don't even remember now. I think it was maybe $40 or $50, if that. The price range is all over the place. That is my impression of the vibration plate. I absolutely love it. It's great for lymphatic drainage. It will improve muscle density. It will improve muscle mass, but not a whole lot on those last two. Weight training, resistance training is going to really be your best friend in that area. Now, if you have any questions about the vibration plate and my thoughts about it, just put them in the comments down below and I'll try to get to you on it. I am curious about what your plans are for the spring and summer. Like, what do you got going on? Are you putting in a garden? Are you starting yoga? Do you have a new class you're beginning? What are you doing? I know what I'm doing. I am, of course, in the middle of my garden already. I've got everything in. The tomatoes are growing. The blueberry bushes are looking fabulous. That one little guy that was struggling, I think he's going to make it. I have started doing sort of yoga in the morning while my coffee's brewing. It's more stretching, but it's yoga. It's the whole thing, and it feels so good. And I end with a 1-minute full Asian squat with my heels on the ground. I finally got my heels on the ground. So that feels really good because it kind of limbers me up in the morning. And let's see, I actually bit the bullet and purchased an annual pass to a lake that's literally 12 minutes from my house. So I'm going to be kayaking there all summer long. It's been raining lately, so I haven't been out on my boat. I'm getting a little crazy. And other than that, I think I'm going to be spending some time going up to Lake Tahoe and maybe staying over and paddling Sand Harbor, because that's my favorite place on the planet to paddle. So those are kind of my summer plans. I want to know what your spring and summer plans are. Are you starting a new hobby? Are you learning something new? Are you taking a class? What are you adding to your life? I'm curious because maybe I want to do it too. I'm looking around for ideas. I have kind of gotten in with the group of ladies in my community. There's a few meetings every month, like little groups that we do and that sort of thing. But I do have some extra time that I could dive into something new. So maybe you've got an interesting idea for me. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. You guys know it just makes my day when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. I'm so glad you stopped by today. I'll be back next Sunday with a very fun video. Make it a great week, and I'll see you then. Bye now.